Hi, my name's Clint with the Game Fish and Parks Outdoor Campus in Rapid City, and today we're going through how to set a cage trap for a bobcat. This method can be a little cumbersome because it requires a lot of materials, a big heavy cage, but for our bobcat research program that's happening within the Black Hills Fire District region, you could potentially get yourself $500 for catching a bobcat. And so to understand how to get that, you can reach out to the Rapid City office to see what the deal is with that. But you're looking for a bobcat in a cage is the preferred method to catch this bobcat. And so I've got a method that I would like to use, and it works pretty well. So the first thing we did is choose a location. We have a trail running through here, and bobcat's going to work those trails. We're in a creek bottom right now, so there's potential to have a bobcat run through here looking for rabbits. Wherever there's rabbits, that's going to be one of their primary food sources. Also, you're going to find them running ridge lines. If you found a big rock wall that has a lone rock or a lone tree, they like to go check those things out. They're just like your house cat. They're curious. They want to go see what's going on, and they're very visual. So as they kind of move over a hillside, they're going to go up and down looking for everything and looking for those rabbits. So what I did here is we have the trail going this way. I want my trap at an angle here so that as a cat comes down this trail, he's looking directly inside my cage. So what I did was I scratched out the ground there with a hammer just to get the trap set. Other tools that I needed were some loppers. I've got my bait bag here with all my urines and lures and baits, and a couple of fun little things to bring them in, as well as a hunk of landscape fabric. So to bed this, I kind of run this back and forth there. We don't want any wobble in this cage whatsoever. You'll notice this cage is a little taller. Bobcats fit well in these tall, narrow cages. However, we have heard that they will go in those live traps that the state has given out in the past. So that's another option. There's two different styles of doors, multiple styles, but the main ones are going to be a guillotine style door or a hinge style door, where that's going to come out here and fall. So we're first going to get this thing baited. After you got it set, we're going to throw in our first visual attractant. And here's my little furry dude, little cheetah print with some Google eyes. And I've lost my little fake feathers, but something down in there. It's been said that bobcats can see greens, purples, and another color I can't remember off the top of my head, but so having that kind of color in there is helpful. It's kind of nice to just remove that door for now, and we're going to stick our little furry dude right there in the back. So now I've got this little thing that's hanging. You could even put little mirrors in the back, something that's hanging there as the gentle breeze moves it back and forth. It's an attractant for that animal. I've even seen little cutouts of a rabbit or a pigeon or just fake little things in the back there to attract them. Next on the back of the cage is where we're going to put our lures and baits. And I take rebar tie wire and I put a cotton ball around the end. And then I have some tie wire also off the back of this cage. So I will just dip this into my favorite gland lure or some bait of some sort. You don't want to just have a gland lure. I always like one gland lure at least, because gland lure is something that has a calming effect on cats. So we want to dip this in here. We have one set type of bait on here. Then we're going to grab a different kind of lure or bait and put it on there, and we have another. Then I'll take a third and I'll dip it in there and have another. The reason why it's on the outside of this cage here and on the top is because I want that cat to completely commit to this as he comes in. If this gives me another 4 inches for that cat to have to come into the cage. So he's going to come in and try and reach all the way to the backs of these. And we've got 3 different scents there keeping his curiosity, because they are so curious. They want to just keep seeing, oh, I smell that, oh, I smell that. So they're going to go back and forth, just kind of keeping their curiosity on all these scents. Also, I keep it up high and not on the ground, because as the weather gets cold, we want those scents nice and high. So as the wind comes from the back, that's another thing I've incorporated here, is the wind's going to be coming this way. That wind is going to catch that bait scent and lead it right out the door. So we've got that all lured up and ready to go back into place. All right, we have our trap back in place. Now we need to put some dirt on this wire here, because the cat doesn't like to feel that through his paws. We don't have a lot of dirt right now around here. It's all kind of wet and our trap could get frozen in, so I will try and grab just a little bit of these leaves and put it in there. Take your time with these sets. They do require some time, and I would suggest getting just a little bit of that dirt and put it all in there. Not any big sticks, because that will act as a stepping guide. You need to take a few leaves also, cover that pan up, or a little bit of dirt, so you get a nice angle for that to come in. So our bait's there, our trap is set, with the floor is covered. Now I'll take my landscape fabric and cover this up. This does two things. It makes it look like a nice dark tunnel for a rabbit that would live in there. It also covers up our last piece of bait, because it needs to be protected from raptors wanting to get to it. So I'll throw a hunk of beaver meat or muskrat meat in the way back there. So we got all kinds of scents going on. Top it off with a little bit of bobcat urine, and then you can get really fancy and figure out the time of year and use tom urine versus a female types of urine. That's going to attract and make those animals work just a little bit differently. So you got this covered up. Now we're going to brush it in. We're almost done. Last thing I'm going to do is take a call lure. It's a really strong smelling, usually skunk based, and I'm going to smear that as high as I can, so that's going to carry scent as far as possible. And that's good for later in the seasons. As things get really cold, your scents aren't quite as effective, so you got to get a little stronger smelling stuff. Then I need my visual attractants. You can use anywhere from a CD to a feather with mirrors on it to a little just white feather of some sort, and dangle that right here. You can dangle it right somewhere around, but it'd be good to have that thing pretty close to the door, so you're directing that cat to the door, and then he gets curious on the next thing. So that needs to have a swivel on it. It's really important that has to have a swivel on it, and it's free moving. So that thing, a CD, is really flashy. You can see that from half mile away pretty easy, and a feather has that natural look of a turkey on it too. So that's an option. And then with your door, as you're messing with your baits and everything, you got to be careful on touching the outside of your trap, because you have scent on your hands. You touch the door and the cat's going to just smell the door and not necessarily go in. Set your door, and if you notice, I have some orange flagging on it. So as I go and check my trap, I use my binoculars. I can see it from a long ways away, and it makes my checks a lot quicker and faster. And right there we have a bobcat set. I probably would have brushed that in just a little bit more to hide that, and you can even direct cats into it. So that's a bobcat set. And if you have any questions or comments, I know there's other ways of doing it, but this is an effective way that I've learned and been successful with it. So thanks for listening.